Quantum is my name, and my pleasure welcoming you again today on this platform. We're looking at the education sector, the ASU federal government in Broglo, of course, the federal government seeming restructuring of the polytechnic education in Nigeria, and we look at what I call the rising wave of violence in the states. We have gotten 1 or 2 or 3 cases where people are being attacked in the state of Osun, and that is very strange to us. We'll talk about that. I have in the studio a friend and a brother of mine, of course, the special advisor to the governor on education. He's a journalist, he's a politician, he's a financial expert, of course, a public affairs commentator. So he's here in wearing several caps this morning. His name is Babatunde Jamiu Olawumi, coincidentally my namesake. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure. Good morning, and I'd like to say, listener out there, it's a good time having this opportunity again to talk to ourselves and hear our views.
You're a policy formulator now as far as education is concerned in the state.
Yes,
so from here we can extend to what is happening in Nigeria, because there must be a synergy between what the federal government is doing and what every federated state is doing.
Since education is on the concurrent list.
Concurrent list.
And we share responsibilities.
Yes. Federal government and ASU, the Academic Staff Union of Universities in Nigeria, when are we having peace?
Yes, I'd like to say thank you very much. The very thing that worries almost all Nigerians, except few of us, is the unending strike of ASU. And because it has taken this long, I think ASU's rank is also being broken, because we have other groups now within the academic community thinking that ASU has taken on the country for too long. It is very important again to also quote the registrar of JAMB, Professor Oloyede. Last week, I think on Saturday, he was granting interview in Lagos, and he said this is high time we told ourselves hard truth about what is going on in Nigeria. Yes, the 2009 agreement predated this government, predated so many governments. It's not important. Agreement and agreement, and one must say that when you take over government, you asset and liability, you are responsible. So no government can say I want to bolt out of the agreement unless you want to review, and that has to do with a lot of suasion before you can review. Nonetheless, ASU's demands is a win-win for Nigerians and for Nigeria, because few of it are personal to individual lecturers. However, when you take over a malnourished child, you can't say within a week you have to be well fed, and all the nutrition the child requires must start to work within a week. They have dragged on year in, year out, talk about the agreement, and the government not fulfilling the part of but there is also what people will see as social license of an agreement. The social license is what also is losing. That's why we have this problem. You cannot say you require 1.2 trillion naira to go from a government whose budget, total budget, capital budget is about 6 trillion. You have a lot of responsibilities that government carry out, the government will carry out, and that's why there have to be a middle point between ASU and the government, there should be level of reasonable demands that can immediately be met. There should be some that can be spread out. There are some that can be said, this one we cannot afford it now. It is not even something better. I remember when I was there, each time there was going to be strike, and we would not come on here to write stories and broadcast our stories. Yeah. It's always pained us because that is the job we have chosen to do.
We're even looking at the fact that the students have been at the receiving end.
Yes, and these students, you cannot say that because somebody has his child elsewhere. Education is a personal right. It's a personal right. I can choose to attend whichever university I want. Sentiments will not work at this time.
The Minister of Labour, Junior Minister in charge of Labour and Productivity, the respected Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, I listened to him. He said the agreement between the university teachers and the federal government, which you referred to was endorsed in 2009, did not, and probably does not until now, enjoy the support of crucial stakeholders in charge of finance. That's the Ministry of Finance, Budget, National Wage
They were
Commission,
not brought into it when the agreement was being drafted.
And the Ministry of Education.
Yes, and if you look at that one, if ASU is taking 1.2 trillion, how much is ASUP in the Polytechnic will take? Because the strike normally follow.
No, we are even talking about ASU.
I'm telling you consequential demands.
Even in the university, they are still the one you call the non-academic.
The non-academics is there. So if ASU alone is take 1.2 trillion, how much will NASU take? How much will ASUP take? How much will COHESU take? If you want to balkanize the country and balkanize the economy, you must come out and say that government, you must become insolvent, so that individual council of the university will now fix rate and start to pay us the way they like, and the government will not abandon that responsibility of educating Nigerians with means possible that government can afford to run education.
Now, the University Teachers Union has extended this strike by another 4 weeks. What do you think can happen?
It's also raising sentiments against the government. If you are in strike, you are in strike. How do you come every month to review? We are adding 4 weeks so that what can happen? Does it mean that if there's an agreement today, they will still stay at home for 4 weeks? They are only trying to curry undue sympathy from the public that, oh, your children will stay home now again for another 4 weeks, so that everybody will be impatient with government. But give it to them. The demand could be as genuine as they have proclaimed it to be, but there should be consequential arrangement of whatever the government is going to do, because it will have consequences. The government that has less than 6 trillion naira in its capital budget cannot afford to give university lecturers alone 1.2 trillion naira, while you are having non-academic serving of the university also making demands, ASUP making demands, and COASU making demands. It is not realistic.
Not realistic. Well, they are our teachers. So you come.
They taught me, but fortunately or unfortunately, I think I see more than what they see.
Now, the idea of the federal government coming up to restructure the polytechnic education in the country is another dominant issue now. Polytechnics are to award OND alone, and at the higher level to award for degree, Bachelor of Technology. I learned the Yaba Tech already converted to university, and probably
Kaduna Polytechnic, yeah. And Auchi. Okay. Federal Polytechnic and Auchi. Yes, let me start from here, that the policy of any government on education is determined by the type of capacity you want to build for your country. We want skilled individuals in in abundance. You look the way of technical education. And this government has also proclaimed that technical education is the way to go. And that's what is reflecting in Osun State too, because our bias for technical education determined the recruitment exercise for teachers, 1,000 we took the other time, because the bias was for English, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and agric science. That's about 85% of the teachers we took out of the 1,000. If you say you want to Polytechnic to terminate at OND, it means an OND graduate seeks education, further education in the university. And if it's in technology, it goes to the technology area. However, this policy started under Obasanjo, was first tested, and it was report by Dr. Obi Ezekwesili in under Obasanjo administration. After the privatization, they came to education, and it was as wide as even wanting to concede federal government college unity schools to communities, host communities where they have capacity to run school. Government wanted to cede those schools to them. And that was when the issue of Polytechnic aligning with universities in their domain. However, if you say that should happen, you must first think about the capacity. Who and who are lecturers in these polytechnics? Are they as suitable as lecturers in universities? It's very important.
We talk about the admission policy.
Admission policy first. Even the capacity, the resource, human resources, lecturers and other ancillary services. And we also look at private universities and private polytechnics. So there's a lot to do. It's a policy that perhaps government is spinning for people to make contributions, for people to see this is what we could do, this is the limit of the policy. So we can't be talking about it holistically now because it is just coming to the talking stage.
I know. We are just trying to
set
agenda.
If you want to say Osun State Polytechnic should stop at OND, which university supervises? You are thinking of Osun State University because it's a state polytechnic. So all these issues are going to, as the policy unfolds, we'll see what the government intends to achieve.
Yes, listener, you are just joining us. The program is Issues in the News, and the guest is Honorable Jamiu Babatunde Olawumi, the
Honorable Special Advisor. The Honorable Special Advisor to Governor Itola.
You told me
on education.
We get before we came in that maybe you will be the host.
Yes.
You can see
it's a good homecoming.
Mention his name.
It's a good homecoming.
We've been talking about education at the federal level now. Let's talk about you mentioned it in passing.
Yes.
We are doing well here. What other things are we doing? Our children are on holiday.
What we have done, let me talk about two or three things we have done. The government of APC, either ACN or whatever, met the matriculable percentage of WAEC students at 11%. Today we have taken it to 64%. And again, let me tell you, last 2 years, Osun was ranked 29th. We have moved to 24th.
Okay.
Even amidst scarce resources. My governor and his government is committed to transformational education. And that is why we are completing technical colleges that have almost been comatose as we move on. So it is a government that is serious. Remove campaign sentiments and Brit Bat. Your opponent must not praise you, because if he praises you, he does not have a reason to be at the opposite side.
I don't have
no, I'm talking about campaign issues. So if your opponent is not supposed to praise you,
okay,
but you have your records.
Do you praise your opponents?
I praise my opponent because it gives me the task. It puts me on my toes.
Okay.
Because of what he's saying, I will do better.
Okay.
So opposition is better in democracy if you don't see it the way that they are distractors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they are constructive.
If they are constructive. Even when they are detractors, you let people know that they are only distracting you. And it also brings them down. So because they will be talking low, you will be talking high. So we know what we have done, and we are proud of our achievements. So in Osun State, we are on holiday now. And two things are going on now. We have conducted qualifying exam into secondary school for primary 6 students. For people who who have completed their GS3 with their BECE, the entrance exam to senior secondary school we have also conducted. So we are in the process of selecting and posting students to their new schools. So we are busy, and we know that the quality and the mentoring we are doing when we interrogate results, we assist those students because we know your quality, we know which school you are going, and we know the attachment notes we are giving to teachers and principals that so students need additional effort, whether in form of giving them take-home assignments, inviting their parents so that they can catch up with others.
Oh, thanks so much on education. Now, if we want to measure the performance of the present administration in the states, there's something that I think tops it all.
Yeah.
That's the relative peace.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that we now have what people call rising wave of attacks on innocent people. We have one at Ede recently,
yes,
even involving a parliamentarian in the state,
yes,
attack on him,
yes,
or his parents' home. So there was one that was reported last Friday, I guess, in around Elisha Garage.
Okay.
We have reports from Elisha sometimes ago where people were attacking innocent people. We don't want anybody to turn Osun State into a theater of violence.
Yes, the 3 events have spoken for themselves, because we could easily see what is the fallout of what. Like in every democracy in Africa or in Nigeria in particular, after elections, there will be issues. Issues from those politicians might have hired to influence participation and result of election. In the case of Fede, what we have read in the news, I was not there, but what I've read is that there was a fallout of the leftover of opportunities provided by the election that people are fighting over. And it was also stated that a woman whose children were faithful of another party had issues. The woman had issues, the children went to intervene, and there was crisis. Nonetheless, it is not the best for us, because if indeed we parade ourselves as Somoluabi, what left over, whatever amount it might have been in terms of money, that will now be equated with lives that we have lost and the property. We want to appeal to the leadership of that community to see see things the way the governor, a peaceful, easygoing, unassuming and determined, result-oriented governor is doing for the state. If the governor did not say because of the outcome of the election. Whether we like the result or not, whether we are challenging or not, it's not the issue now. But people are amazed that construction was going on in their communities are still going on. Because it's a service to the state. Election, yes, but service. What Oyetola is doing is service. The road to Ilobu is going on. The mom of my mosque told me that they were entertaining fears at Barua that the project will not going on. But if you look at the place, the construction site, that is the same thing in Ile-Ife. That is what a government is supposed to do. Every governor has a term of office. If you have not served your time out, you must be responsible to the people of the state. And that's what Oyetola is doing. Let people on the other side who have supposedly won election also live to the responsibility and learn. This is a period for them to learn. When you bring people here as a worker, he will come and sit in with the announcer.
That's right.
Let them also sit in with this governor Oyetola and see how he's doing it. It's not necessarily that they should do it the way he's doing it, but let them come and learn one or two things from him.
The major issue is for us to appeal to people to maintain peace.
Yes.
Which you have done. Probably taking it the last issue we are going to discuss on the platform today. Impeachment of President Buhari. Can it happen?
It's laughable. It's laughable.
No, don't say it is
I will tell you it is laughable.
And the first.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you it is laughable.
Okay.
The type of presidential system we operate in Nigeria makes it so difficult and cumbersome to impeach a president. I'll tell you
that's
why.
That's why I asked it's possible.
It is laughable. I'll not say possible or not. Because the errors this government has committed, supposed errors, whether there's inflation, whether the government borrow money, the money was approved, the borrowing was approved by the members of National Assembly. All of them borrowed the money.
They are not complaining about
no issues. Let me tell
general insecurity.
Let me tell you.
Which is obvious.
They take responsibility too. You can't say Buhari will take the entire. He's commander-in-chief. But yeah, day in, day out, month in, month out, you have been inviting security chiefs to the National Assembly to discuss. If you look at where they are sitting down, you will also see where they have compromised. Even though the president takes the buck stops.
And we are in a presidential
system. We're in a presidential system.
The president is an
executive man. So
who can hire and fire?
Let me tell you, there are dog handlers in democracy. The minority that has proposed impeachment, can they win on the floor of the National Assembly if members of the ruling party do not join them? So look, it is, and we will say that the governors of the states where those honorable and senators are coming from don't have influence on them. It's only the governor that can instigate impeachment.
Okay.
I'm telling you from the way democracy in Nigeria has worked out. It is only the governors that can institute and instigate impeachment.
With the security situation in this country?
Nobody will be pleased with it because it is an outcome of corruption. Whatever is wrong in Nigeria today, whether you are looking at stealing public funds, nepotism, and all others, they are all product of corruption. If you don't win the war against corruption, you can't win against insecurity. Because how do you explain a soldier also taken from the ransom? Will anybody in his area be secured? Is there no corruption? When people don't see soldiering as a professional act, professional duty, everybody is commercializing whatever he has. It is a general problem that everybody must take responsibility.
We voted somebody to lead us, to provide leadership.
Yes.
And that's why it touches on the table
of the president, yes,
than any other nation.
Than any of us.
So where do we go from here?
Soldiers who are accused of compromised security of Kuje prison. Do you expect the president to carry gun and stay at the front of Kuje prison? Are we saying security was not deployed to that place? Will you say the governor should take gun and go to Sambisa, the governor of Borno State or the president? We will now say when they compromise, the president must pay for it. There must be punishment for failures. Where the government will fail now is not punishing errors.
Nigerians have been complaining that people are not being punished. Essentially,
the same thing I said now.
Yeah. So that goes to who?
To the executive.
To the executive. Well, that's why we are doing the program, so that people concerned who learn one thing or the other from what we are saying. I want you to greet people at home again. Please advise them within a minute.
Yes, I thank our listener, and I'd like to say that when it is better for the society, it's better for us. But the society starts from our individual homes. Let us ensure productive training for ourselves, for our children. And let us also exercise patience and respect one another. Respect is very, very important. And that is when we can carry out the service. If you don't respect that person, he does not listen to you.
But I love your presentation this morning on this platform. We're devoid of politics.
Thank you very much.
Sentiments, matured mind, excellent use of language. I want to thank you most sincerely for coming, Honorable Jami.
I'm on board.
And let me thank my colleagues, Tony Ojeyemi and Olatunji Ojo. Now, till next Monday, when we shall be looking at those things trendy in our country. Babatunde Oguntomi is my name. God bless all of you.
And God bless you.
And Nigeria, our nation, God bless you.
So if you look at the constitution of Nigeria, the government is set up basically to do two things.
People are asking, do we have budget again?
I would say we still have a budget, because if we don't have a budget, we cannot have government run its activities.
Wow! Arguments and counter-arguments on topical issues and events trending in Nigeria. Politics, rule of law, judiciary, economy, trade and commerce, education, security,